Hello there, my little avocado salads. Thank you so much for joining me for this chat about exercise, working out, physical movement, fitness, the relationship with the body, and the flow and engagement with the body. I know that some of you are going to be no stranger to the fact that this is really an important part of my life. It's something I really enjoy. And I think physical movement and exercise, stuff that I do in that regard, has given me a really good way to have some control over my depression and have a really good tool in my toolkit for dealing with my depression when it arises. If you did not know that I deal with depression and you would like to know more about that, I will leave some of the key videos down below that will explain to you about my journey with depression and stuff like that. So today, I want to offer hopefully some tips and some insights to encourage you if you are struggling a little bit with the relationship between your body and, physical movement, physical exertion, enjoying being embodied, exercise, working out, keeping fit, whatever sort of area, because it's a bit of a spectrum, I think. And I wanted to have this video be hopefully as inspiring as possible and just give you a few things that I think have helped me along the way. And it's appropriate that this is going to be such a potentially informative video for you because it is sponsored by my sponsor, SKILLSHARE. Thank you so much, SKILLSHARE, for sponsoring the video. Last time I had a video sponsored by SKILLSHARE, darlings, I told you that I thought it was going to take over from YouTube. For me, in terms of viewing time, and indeed it has taken over from YouTube. I now have more investment of my brain and my time in Skillshare when I'm watching things online than I do on YouTube, and I'm really pleased about that because it's an amazing online learning platform and there's so many different things on there that you can enjoy. One of the things I love about Skillshare is just that it's given me the opportunity to think of my online viewing time more as a chance for learning, and that has really impacted positively the rest of my life. I'm getting back into studying my second language, which is really amazing, and I feel like I'm having better and more elevated conversations sometimes as well with other people and with myself. One of the classes I want to recommend to you is by Jessica Swift. It's this incredible art class on Skillshare, darlings. It's called Daily Art Practice for Self-Care, and it's cut into 14 segments. Some of the segments are very short, some of them more in depth. Check out the art studio that this amazing teacher is filming in, though. Are you not jelly? I am jelly AF of that studio. You can check out that course and so many more if you click down below, and you are one of the first 1,000 people to click through. You'll be given a free Skillshare trial. Skillshare is very affordable anyway. It comes in at under $10 a month, but you can get a free trial with my link, so go and do it if you haven't already. It's kind of a special day to be filming this particular video, darlings, because the gyms have just reopened in the UK at the time of me filming this, and that's really important for me because I'm quite an enthusiastic gym goer, and not being able to go to the gym for over a year has definitely had an effect on my mental health, and certainly I have felt the effect on my physical health. I'm one of those people who has always said that I don't work out very well at home. There's not a lot I can do in terms of running because running is too high impact for my back injury. And when I'm at home, it's just like I don't push myself as hard. I don't encourage myself as much to work out. So I've always been one of those people who says that if I didn't have a lot of money and I had to really think about my subscriptions and I had to really cut down and budget, the gym would be the last thing I would say goodbye to. It is money very well spent for me. I love going to the gym. And so I've always been someone that said that pre-pandemic. So the fact that I have not had the gym for over a year now, am I excited about going back for my first gym session tomorrow? You bet your bastard bollocks I am, darlings. You bet. God damn, I'm so excited. Oh dear, I'm so excited I might wee a little bit. Anyway, so it's really, really good for me. However, I wanted to say that the challenge for me of focusing on doing home workouts during this time, focusing on, getting onto my mat and doing my sort of floor core or Pilates or whatever, or following along to lessons online and things like that, that has been really good for me. It's been good for me to push myself and challenge myself. I don't think that it's necessarily the healthiest thing to convince yourself that you absolutely need a resource in order to be physically fit and to be embodied and to be excited about movement, physical movement, and challenging yourself in that regard. So I'm glad that I didn't have the gym for a year, but it's hard. Do you know what? Even as I say that, it's bittersweet. It's like, am I glad? Is glad the right word, Kellyanne? Maybe it's not exactly the right word. But I see that that was a really healthy and worthy challenge for me, and I'm glad I had that challenge. But yes, I'm very happy for the gym doors to be open again. Leave a comment down below if, like me, you are a gym goer and you are excited because where you are, the gyms are back open or are going to be back open shortly. Let's have a little celebrate together. Oh, let's bench press pure happiness together. My journey with physical fitness was not great. I didn't enjoy sports at school. Sports was a horrible class for me at school. I really didn't like it. Sports was cut into kind of like outside sports, team sports, that kind of thing, or inside if it was rainy or windy. We had tennis, badminton, we had hockey, football and rugby for the boys only, of course. And hockey for the girls and no hockey for boys. That was weird. Hockey, they decided hockey was for girls. It's just absurd, honestly. I can't wait for the gender binary to fuck off. Anyway, so yeah, we had all that, and we had AstroTurf with lights so you could play at night, and a lot of people were very into team sports when I was growing up. Hated all that, hated it. Was really insecure about my body. There's a video that I did for Self Love September a while ago. I'm going to stick that down below because I think it explains a lot of why I wasn't into sports and physical activity, and there wasn't really a good example of someone in my life who was very into physical activity, who could kind of pass that on to me. My dad was a boxer for a lot of years and coached boxing for a while as well, and was very into he did Aikido and stuff like that. So I had like a healthy respect for it, but none of that was imparted to me. Apart from him saying things like, I would never want you to do boxing, there wasn't really any sense of like, but let's go for a run, or let's I don't know, show your dad how many push-ups you can do, Kellyanne. It wasn't really like that. And my stepfather was very into like sort of hiking, like sort of quite challenging walks up hills and in forests and on moors and stuff like that. But he was a bit of a bastard the whole time I was growing up, and it wasn't a very nice situation. So I think I associated it with him. That's as honest as I've ever been about that on the channel. So yeah, I didn't really have a great deal of example around me of adults who were like, this feels good, this is fun, this is a good thing to do. Or if you don't find this particular thing fun to do, find what you think is fun to do and do it, The only thing positive I think that I ever had in my upbringing that was around physical movement was Irish dancing, which I was very good at. And my mum started taking me to Irish dancing lessons when I was young, and I really, really wanted to do it. And I did excel at it for the time that I was there. Unfortunately, I didn't take it all the way as far as I could have done because of issues that we had with the teacher. And the way the teacher was kind of using me as a secondary teacher. The better I got, the more she just started getting me to teach the younger children. And it was a bit like, hey, hang on, I'm like an unpaid employee here. But that was the only time that I really felt like something to do with physical movement and being embodied in that way was working for me. And I never saw it as exercise. I do now. I certainly do now. I see how unbelievably physically challenging it is, how fit it keeps you, and how fun it is to do. I never really learned hard shoe, guys. I was a soft shoe step dancer and I loved it. And the jumps and just the precision and everything, I now see that it was about physical fitness. And I love to do it. I love to go through the steps in my kitchen, in the morning and stuff. It's lovely, and it does, gets your cardiovascular situation going, but I didn't see it as exercise at that time. So my perception of exercise, I think, was negative even when I was younger. It was like, well, I would never think of dancing as something I do for my body. It's what I do for my spirit. It's what I do for my heart. It's what I do for my Irish blood. But I didn't see it as like, yeah, this is something that keeps me fit. As I got into my young teens, you would think that would be how I would see it. I would see it as my sport. My thing that I've dedicated myself to that is about physical embodiment, movement, improvement, and strength and stamina and all that. And I never saw it that way. So I think that's really interesting that I loved the dancing, and perhaps therefore I didn't associate it with anything to do with exercise. So I already had this shit feeling about exercise from young. Then my eating disorder situation kind of started unfolding as I got into my later teens. And when I first joined a gym with a friend when I was in my mid-20s, it was for all the wrong reasons, baby cakes. Not a good situation. So the gym essentially became a place to punish myself and to focus only on aesthetic goals and, you know, that kind of stuff, and it wasn't healthy. In my late 20s, I was recovered from my eating disorder, and I had to flip the script on myself a lot when it came to physical movement and physical fitness, because my back injury had really started to take a turn for the very worst. And I realised that I was going to have to start focusing on strengthening my core up and finding something to do that could slowly bring me back into some semblance of control over what was going on in my body if possible. I also recognised that whenever I had sort of the beautiful endorphin rush from physical movement and sort of physical engagement with the body in any challenging sense, it was better for my depression. And of course, there's a lot of science to back that shit up, darlings. But for me personally, it was like a revelation that I had to come to in my heart rather than from reading it on paper. And when I did come to that revelation in my heart, I also realized at the same time, you know what? I need to start getting into some form of training, some form of regular movement that challenges me, that will make me feel better about some of the stuff that's going on with my mental health too. So I flipped the script. And I think one of the things I realized straight away is that I had to find the things I wanted to do that were fun. I already knew that I loved to dance, and so dance workouts of any kind I knew were going to be good for me. I wouldn't go to classes. I'm not particularly a fan of classes. It's not really how I prefer to work out most of the time. But there's so many awesome home workouts you can do which are dance oriented. Of course, I like to go out dancing as well. So yeah, I just sort of moved that into dance workouts, and I started getting into things like ballet conditioning. That was a really interesting workout for me, where they basically use all of the ballet exercises that ballerinas use and teach you how to do that and break that all down for you. So that was cool. But I also like to just sort of work up a sweat by doing dance workouts, you know, Eric Pritz style-y. Call on me. No, not quite like that. Not with the leg warmers, darlings. I know some people that only do swimming because they really enjoy swimming. They don't enjoy the gym. They don't like lifting weights. Swimming is a really beautiful activity for them that they really enjoy, and they love to swim laps, whereas running or anything else just doesn't excite them. So they swim, and that's their fitness activity. I know people that are really into team sports. I've got a mate who does cricket and football, for example, and that is the key way that he keeps fit and healthy. I know a few skateboarders. So you've got to find what's fun for you with your physical engagement. Don't force yourself to do what your friends do or what people said was a big deal in your family. If your family was really into doing a specific thing, but you really don't like that, you've obviously got to find the thing that you visualize would actually be fun for you and that you would like to do. I know for a lot of people it's yoga, but some people can't stand the thought of yoga. You know, so really think about what feels good for you. The other thing for me is I like to do a combination. I love to have different options. It doesn't make sense for me when I'm thinking about physical movement that I would only have this one thing that I go to over and over again, because that's not what I enjoy in life. You know, I like to have a lot of different clothes that I can choose from, a lot of different bits of jewelry that I can choose from. I love to have different journals for different things, you know. So I've got different types of pens for different, obviously I enjoy variety. I'm not someone that's very singularly focused in one direction. And there's been times in my life, darling, I've had several partners on the go at once, you know what I mean? Not in a deceitful way, you understand, you know. There'll be another video about that another time. Let's get back on track. Okay. So yeah, it's obvious that I enjoy variety, and I need to be able to do something for me for a specific mood that I'm in. Oh, that's another thing that's really significant about me, is I have different books for different moods. So I'll usually be reading 5 or 6 books at this point. I've always had 2 or 3, 1 or 2, 2 or 3. But sometimes it goes into the realm of like 7 books on the go at once. And you're actually propped up today on 4 different decks that I'm working with, 2 tarot and 2 oracle. So I do like to have variety dependent upon mood. It wouldn't make sense that I wouldn't also have that for exercise. So these days, what I really enjoy to do is I really love floor core, like mat workouts where you do a lot of isometric moves, not necessarily yoga. I'm more veer towards Pilates. And in the last year and a half, I've really started to practice Pilates much more fully. But sometimes I just mix it up. I just mix up some Pilates moves with some other bits and pieces that I've learned. And sometimes it will be more cardio and I'll be really moving and I'll be doing like lunges and press ups and push ups and different kinds of crunches that I've learned and all this kind of thing, different kinds of twists, different kinds of stretches. And other times I will be holding moves, doing the isometric moves, so holding poses more. And it's usually a combination, and I'll usually have amazing music on at the time. And I really love to do that. That's what I do when I'm at home. And then I also really love to go to the gym. I can't wait to get back. So I love weightlifting. I'm not a bodybuilder at all, as you can see, but I love lifting weights. I love challenging myself in that regard. That is a really fun part of it for me. And I really enjoy cardio on machines. I also do see dancing still as a massive part of my cardio, and the dancing events that I was going to before I was so rudely interrupted by a bastard airborne pathogen were really a big part of it for me as well. I saw myself, getting exercise and nurturing my body in that regard too. I can dance for hours, baby cakes, hours and hours and hours and hours. I'm the dancing queen, okay? Something that was really important for me, and it might also be important for you if you're someone that struggles with, being physically active, is that I realised I had to accept partly when I got started with it that it was a bit of a healing journey for me. As I said, when I was younger, I really didn't have a good perception of physical activity, working out, sports, any of that stuff. It really brought up unpleasant feelings for me when I later moved into adulthood, and I didn't see it as something good. And then even when I did start going to the gym in my mid-20s, it was for a screwed up reason. It was because I had an eating disorder and I was trying to push my body to burn calories, and that was it, even though I was not consuming enough calories most of the time. So I had some layers that I had to go through, and I think it was really helpful for me to recognize that and to say to myself, okay, you know what? If I want physical fitness, physical movement in my life, I'm going to have to accept that it was not always positive and healthy for me, that there is some difficult residual feelings there when it comes to physical activity, and I want to do it my way. I want to go back to the gym and try it to see if I like it and to see if it's something I want to do. I want to do street running to see if I like that. What else did I say I wanted to do? I wanted to try apps and see what that was like and what that was all about. I wanted to try and do yoga again and see if I could crack that nut. I wanted to get some Irish dancing shoes and go through the steps and let myself do that again. I wanted to give myself access to a plethora of different things I could try, knowing that this is about my journey now. It's not about my horrible old games teachers that I used to have. It's not about my stepdad. It's not about the kids that used to bully me because I was hairy and I had to wear like the horrible little games uniform where everybody could kind of like see your body. It's not about any of that. It's about me. It's about my divine, hairy adult self and what the hell I want to do with my body. And so I really encourage you in that, darlings. I encourage you to think about what would be fun for you, what would be sustainable for you. How do you want to feel about physical movement and about physical fitness and physical wellness? As I started to realize that my journey with physical wellness and physical movement was a healing journey, that really helped me to reframe so many things. Like, for example, I used to really hate walking up a great deal of stairs and feeling my thighs burning and like just feeling your legs burning and getting out of breath. I used to hate that. I used to get frustrated by it. I'd walk up loads of stairs. England can be like that, darlings, all right? We are a hilly place where sometimes you'll just be walking along somewhere and you'll have to take 3 flights of stone steps or something. If anyone's ever gone to Cornwall, you'll know what I mean. And don't get me wrong, I've been through a back injury that made it very difficult for me to walk for quite a few years back there. And we were talking about surgery and all kinds of things. So I know I'm very blessed to be able to take some stairs. There's no question. And I do see great privilege in that. But I'm telling you, when I would take some stairs, oh my good gravy, with a goddess on a biscuit, I was very stroppy. I'd hate the burning feeling in my legs. And afterwards I'd be like, oh, my legs are like jelly now. How annoying. And I flipped that completely when I got back into physical movement and fitness. And I was like, okay, I'm going to take this for how it is for me and how I want to feel about it. Now I feel completely differently about burning thighs. Now I like it. I'm halfway walking up a set of stairs and I might turn to someone that's with me and say, oh, I feel the burn. You can feel that. You'll feel that tomorrow. I've flipped the script. I've said to myself that I actually love that. I love to feel that I'm alive. Oh, I didn't know I was going to get emotional. I love it so much though. I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky to have this little meat suit that takes me from one place to another. And I love to know what it can do and see what it can do and just feel it working. And know that one day I'll be fertilizing daffodils. One day this thing will nurture the earth again and it will have nothing to do with me anymore. And so for now, you know, let me feel that sweet, sweet burn. Oh dear. When I first got my gym membership, I started going to the gym, I started lifting weights and trying out all the different machines and everything. I was very excited and I was watching a lot of things to do with fitness and to do with like fitness challenges and different workouts that I could do, different things I could try in the gym, and really wanting to sort of push myself to the next plateau with the weight that I was doing, the weights I was doing and stuff. I'm not the most technical person with all of this, but I had my challenges and I was very invested and I was thinking about fitness and exercise. The way I was thinking about it was fitness and exercise and wanting to kind of like push my levels in that regard. And one thing that was a really good mindset shift for me was to stop thinking about it as exercise and fitness and training and start focusing instead on physical movement and physical embodiment and being with my body and feeling the flow of my body. And, you know, just experiencing my physicality. I try to think about it more in those woo-woo, lofty, ethereal, hippie terms because they're better for me. It's better for me than thinking just about training, focusing on the exercise, focusing on, you know, workouts. Yes, those things are a part of it. Absolutely. But it got me to the point where I would be upset if I didn't quite, you know, do enough workouts that month, or if I didn't hit the gym enough, if I didn't, you know, fulfill that next plateau I wanted to get to. It would be a bummer and it would be a downer. And I would, instead of being happy that I had done some of the time in the gym that I had done, and the other things as well that weren't part of the gym, like going for lovely walks or getting in the sea in the summertime and having a swim, all I would think was, oh, but I didn't go to the gym 4 times this week. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't do, you know, whatever. I didn't push myself hard enough. And I don't want to think like that. I don't want to be like that with myself. I want to enjoy every single moment that it's possible to enjoy in this body that I used to starve and cut and resent. And I want to get away from that idea that I'm supposed to be doing something with my body, that if I don't do it, then I fail. You know, then I don't get to feel good about what's happening with me and my physicality. I don't want to feel that way. So I switched from thinking so much about the focus being on training and workouts, and I started thinking about like just be embodied as much as possible. Really, it's a form of physical mindfulness, darlings. It's about just allowing yourself to have those bodily experiences, and instead of just associating your connection with your body with specific, very rigid activities that you do, just think more about being in your body in general and let yourself enjoy being in your body in general. There's a thing called NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and that's basically all of the energy that you use and the calories that you burn doing anything that is not exercise. So we're thinking about things like using your brain, just going to walk around the shops and get your groceries, walking the dog, going to get the kids to and from school, that kind of stuff. All of that stuff is your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is also a really important part of your experiences with your body. It's a really important part of your physicality, and it's also an area of things which can be valued, respected, enjoyed, rather than just thinking, oh, I didn't go to the gym this week, or I didn't do this workout I said I was going to do, or so-and-so's done more than me. Rather than that, just be thinking, I walked to the shop instead of driving today. You know, I bent down in my garden to water the plants. I did some stretching. I stretched my arms. I wrote in my journal today. That was great. I used my brain. I engaged my brain to my hand, or your hands if you type, whatever it is. You know, even thinking about drawing out a circle and doing your ritual, the movements that occur, the way you're using energy in that way, that all can be valued. That all is positive. We must not forget about those things. I think it's really important to celebrate those aspects of physical movement as well. So let's talk a little bit about progress. What does it look like? How do you measure it? What is healthy for you? For a lot of people, progress is a real sticking point when it comes to your physical fitness, your physical movement, your relationship with the body. Because I think a lot of people feel that progress can only be measured through aesthetics. It can only be measured through your physical changes, what you look like in the mirror, what you look like in your clothes, your weight on the scale. I do personally enjoy having some aesthetic goals when it comes to my work that I'm doing with my physicality. But I think it's really important for me, definitely, that aesthetic goals are only part of a much broader sense of what my progress is. And I try to make sure that aesthetic goals are not always the most important thing for me, the highest priority of progress checking, especially, of course, because in my case, with an eating disorder behind me and a difficult relationship with food through my life journey and weight, the last thing I want is to prize the aesthetics above any other measure of progress. So for me, I have stamina and capability goals as well. And I also have mental health and personal development goals. And both of those two areas are just as attached to my relationship with my physical movement as the aesthetic goals. So with the stamina and capability goals, first of all, for me, that's going to be things like the amount of weight that I'm lifting, the amount of different variations of movements that I'm doing with weight. It's going to be about different workouts that I want to try and challenging myself in that regard. It's going to be about holding planks for longer, holding my isometric moves for longer. I really enjoy doing challenges. I'm going to do 100 squats every day for May, so that's going to be really awesome. So these kinds of things are my stamina and capability goals. So getting better at the things that I want to get better at, seeing that I'm lifting more, I'm getting stronger, I'm more capable of doing certain things, and trying those challenges, those things I haven't done before, and really seeing that that's being achieved. So that's that area of things. Then with mental health and personal development, that's more about how am I seeing my mental health and my emotional wellness being elevated and being more consistently good as a result of my working out. And it's also about looking at my discipline, my commitment to what I'm doing, which I really enjoy to see. I love seeing myself getting up in the winter time, in the sideways rain when it's cold, and walking my ass to the gym because I don't drive. My gym is in walking distance. Don't worry, I'm not walking over a moor to get to the gym or anything. That would be very cool though and interesting. But anyway, so yeah, it's partly about like how great do I feel about it and how is it affecting my mood in a positive way? How can I see the payoff when I look at the ripple effect that affects every other aspect of my life? How can I witness that exercise and working out is something that's really been of benefit to me? And also, how can I see that it's making me a better class of person, a stronger class of person in my own eyes, you know, not in relation to what anybody else is doing. I'm not in competition with anybody else, physically or otherwise. It's just about like, how can I see myself growing? How can I see myself achieving? How can I see myself really taking my passion and sort of, you know, putting the rubber to the road and doing it? Because I like to see myself doing that. I like who I am when I'm doing that. And then the aesthetic goals, well, those are the things that I want to see. Now, for me, I do not weigh myself. It's not healthy for me really to have a relationship with numbers associated with what I look like. That will just, you know, that's something that dances in the old area of things that I'm very much trying to avoid, darlings. So I do not weigh, and that's a strict rule for me. I do have other ways of enjoying the pursuit of aesthetic goals. You know, so I do like to take some progress pictures sometimes that show how my abs are coming through, how my biceps are coming through, that kind of stuff. And that feels really good. I love to see different muscle groups get better and stronger. I know that when I go back to the gym starting tomorrow, I'm going to be very, very much enjoying all the leg days because my legs are where I've lost the majority of the conditioning from not lifting heavy weights and not going to the gym regularly and getting all of the different lovely machines that they have for cardio and that kind of thing. So I know that I'm going to enjoy watching my conditioning come back in. Now I'm going to be able to feel it, but I also do like the physical look of it as well. And that's something that I enjoy to have as a part of my overall measure of progress. The reason I've laid all of this out to you is so you can really think about what your stamina and capability goals are going to be, what are your mental health and your personal development goals going to be, and then what are your aesthetic goals going to be, if you have any. You don't need to have any. For some people, the only reason they move at all, the only reason they work out or do anything like that at all, is because of their mental health, because they see that it's better for their mental health. It gives them a better day, they have a better week, they feel that lift, the endorphin rush, and they enjoy it. They get a natural high from it. I know some people that only work out because they used to be addicted to a drug that they can now no longer take because they're in sobriety, and some of the feelings that that drug gave them, they can actually achieve from having a really strong workout, from pushing themselves, you know, from going for the burn and sweating out. And, you know, those are very, very legitimate, valid reasons to work out. It's just for your mental health, and that is the measure of progress. If you see it as part of a tool, for example, in your overall journey of sobriety, then your measure of progress is your sobriety. That's it. Cut and shut. Close the book. Doesn't need to be anything else. You don't need to care if your biceps are popping, darling, you know. All that matters is that you are still on the journey of sobriety, and you know that fitness and physical embodiment, physical challenge, or whatever, a physical movement has been a part of that. Don't forget as well that if you've got an injury or if you've got an illness and you find that exercise or, you know, light physical movement actually helps you with that, that can also be considered a measure of progress. So for example, with me, one of the reasons I wanted to get into fitness was because of my back injury, because I was experiencing spasms with my back and stuff like that. And it was a long, long, long road, darlings, but I can tell you for sure that my core strength improving has been a massive reason why I get far, far, far less trouble with my back. So that's also a measure of progress for me. And so anything like that can be a measure of progress for you as well. Figure out what will inspire you to keep going. What are the things that actually make you want to get up and move? If you're into a team sport, then usually it will be like dedication to the team and seeing you guys move forward as a team, having those interactions as a team socially, and also pushing and challenging yourselves together. So that's going to be a big part of what motivates you and makes you keep going back. For some people, one of the sort of portals to consistency is having some form of public accountability. So going to a workout group, for example, having a gym buddy, a friend of yours that you both sort of try and push and work forward together with what you're doing. Some people record their progress on social media and that kind of stuff. A lot of people find apps really inspiring and really encouraging, motivating. Apps where you can record your different progress, or you can try different workouts. I'm on the Asana Rebel app. I love the mat workouts on there. They're great. So I've been trying them out, and I really do love that app, non-spon, because this is already spawned by Skillshare. But I really do like that particular app. Keeping a fitness journal might be something that really inspires you. You know, writing about your physical fitness journey, especially if, like me, you recognize that it's a journey of healing your relationship to the idea of physical movement and what it really means to be physically embodied or to physically challenge yourself in some way. Don't underestimate the inspiring influence of music, my darlings, okay? Get your playlists going, figure out what it is that makes you want to move around, and definitely use music if that can help at all. I challenge you very strongly to listen to Eye of the Tiger and not want to go into some kind of Rocky montage or, you know, start shadow boxing. As I mentioned earlier, I think the variety of different things and being able to combine different things that you enjoy is a part of it as well. You know, so like I said, I love Pilates. I love any kind of floor core type of exercises. I love isometric moves. That kind of thing I enjoy. And I love listening to documentaries while I'm doing that, like documentaries on Tudor history and stuff like that. I love ballet conditioning. I love dance workouts. I love bar workouts, you know, and I'm much more into that than I am into yoga. So I know that's something I really enjoy. I know that I love going for walks outside. That's something I really like to do. I know what I like in the gym and what I really don't enjoy to do in the gym. And I definitely want to start getting swimming lessons. So I want to bring that in. I want to combine that in as well. So it's different things. It depends what you want. Sometimes you might want to go for swimming. Sometimes you might want to go for a hike. Sometimes, you know, you might want to do a gentle yoga practice, and sometimes you might want to watch a particular influencer who has a channel whose workouts you really, really love, and maybe some of those workouts are really challenging and you decide, no, today I'm really going to go for it. You don't have to feel like you've got to go for the burn every single time you engage in physical movement and you make that decision to do that. You don't have to push for a challenge every single time. Sometimes you want something super gentle depending on what's going on with you or what you're in the mood for. Sometimes you want quick and dirty if you've only got a little bit of time, and sometimes you might want to really invest the time, really go for the sweat and go for the burn. So try and have a different combination of things that you enjoy to do so you can choose. Okay, so now we get into the witchy stuff, darlings, the kind of more woo ways that you can stay accountable to yourself, keep it consistent, and enjoy the process as well. First of all, as I mentioned previously, journaling is a really, really awesome thing, and you can kind of take your journaling in some very deep and very interesting directions if you want to. You can write words of power in there. You can write letters to yourself in your fitness journal, you know, and enjoy being in your journal as a form of celebration when you do hit certain markers or achieve certain things. Mood boards and vision boards are really great. They're a really great way for you to really tune in visually with what you want to get out of workouts or out of physical movement. Start a Pinterest board if you want to, and you do not need to put anything on there that is connected to what you want to achieve aesthetically. That's one thing I will say. You can literally just choose images that reflect how you want to feel about your journey with physical movement. And that can be a really good one. So instead of having images of people that have the physical attributes that you would like to have, you can have images of landscapes or images of buildings or images of characters from books or whatever. You can have quotes as well. Don't underestimate the power of a motivational quote. So get that vision board going, get that mood board going, and make it into something that you can keep referring back to when you feel like you're kind of losing your way a little bit. Don't be afraid to ask for help and guidance and support from the beings that you work with. I think a lot of the time people forget that working out is something that can absolutely be a part of the spiritual journey, spiritual exploration, connection to the divine. In fact, for me, I tend to think of working out as worship quite a lot of the time. Just in the same way as you can dedicate your meditations to certain themes or beings or causes, you can say that you're sitting for world peace, for example. You can dedicate your workouts to different beings, different causes, different, you know, you can take the energy from your workout and put it into a spell. You can put it into a ritual. You can send it as a form of intention. You can gift it as a form of worship. Very many of my weight workouts are dedicated to my matron deity, who once told me to sweat to honor her. And so, yeah, you know, that's part of it too. That can be a really awesome part of it too. And if you feel like you are stagnating, if you feel like you're struggling to move forward or to continue on with what you're doing, ask your deities for guidance, ask your deities for encouragement, or even evoke the characteristics and the energy of your deities before going into the workout mode. Use affirmations, use words of power, use them before you go into the gym or before you start that workout or before you go for that walk or whatever it is. You know, really connect with the power of words. I am very inspired by words, very, very inspired by words. I always have been. I find certain quotes very, very motivational. I love watching those videos that you see on YouTube of bodybuilders talking about how they manage to get themselves up at 5 a.m. and go to the gym and lift ridiculous amounts of weight, how they stay focused, how they maintain their discipline. Now, I don't want to be a bodybuilder. It's not something that I'm into, but I really love listening to them talk about their journey and why it's important to them. I also love watching documentaries or little featurettes about ballerinas, because I also think ballet is a place where you can find some just incredible discipline and beauty of what it is to be engaged with the body. So I like to listen to what ballet dancers have to say about their journeys and about the dedication and about what it means to them. No, I'm not into ballet. I can't do ballet. I was never interested in ballet, apart from what is called the poor man's ballet, which is a derogatory way of referring to Irish dancing. But I affectionately, I reclaimed it. So I call it that in a tongue-in-cheek way. But yeah, I was never into ballet, but it's the attitude more, you know, that inspires me. So you can take that and you can kind of translate it. Another thing that really inspires me when it comes to words is war speeches. I really enjoy war speeches from films, just like that really give me chills, you know. In fact, stick around until after the end credits of this video if you would like to see a rendition of my Henry V speech from The King. If you want to see me try and be Timothée Chalamet being Henry V for like 30 seconds, definitely check that out at the end, because that really makes me feel like, oh, I love that speech that he gives in The King. It's so good. It just makes me feel like I can take over the world. Obviously, I don't want to take over the world, and neither should Henry V been trying to take over the world, okay? That wasn't good, all right? But, you know, it makes me feel like I can definitely lift some weight and do something. Darlings, if you enjoyed this video and the theme of this video, there's a few things on my online store that you might like to consider purchasing from me. One is an audio course, a little audio talk called Gym Food. I'm not sure how much longer that's going to be available for now. I think I'm going to kind of archive that. So if you want to grab it, now would be the time. It's where I talk a little bit about motivation for the gym and just talk about things that might help you to sort of get into going to the gym regularly if that's what you want to do. I also have a food and fitness reading, which is quite popular. If you know that you need to get your shit together with food and fitness, you really want to make it work, and you would like to know what the cards have to say about that, grab a food and fitness reading from me. You can also work with me on spiritual counselling sessions. I sell them as singular sessions or as packages of sessions, and we can talk about your relationship with working out and motivation, you know, not only in this realm, but with various different things you've got going on in life that you would like to talk to a spiritual counsellor about. Okay, honey bunnies, thank you so much for watching this video. I hugely appreciate it, and I would love to know down below all about your journey with fitness and wellness and physical movement. Tell me all about it. What do you do? What did you used to do that you loved doing and you don't do anymore that you want to get back into? What are your plans? What are your goals? How do you measure your progress? Let's get into it down below. And if you see somebody down below that needs a bit of encouragement, a little bit of a gentle, loving push forward or some advice or some tips, and you have something that you feel like you could really contribute in a nice, friendly, open way, let's also get some dialogues going to help people to reach their achievements as well, their aims. Okay, much love, darlings. Blessed be. Oh, hello. If you're still here, it must be because you're hanging around to listen to my cheeky little rendition of Timothée Chalamet's Henry V speech in The King, which I find to be quite motivating. The part I love is where he says, "All men are born to die. We know it. We carry it with us always. If your day be today, so be it. Mine will be tomorrow. Or mine today and yours tomorrow. It matters not. What matters is that you know in your hearts that today you are that kingdom united. You are England. England is you. Every single one of you, and it is the space between you. Fight not for yourselves, fight for that space. Fill that space. Make it tissue, make it mass, make it impenetrable, make it yours, make it England, make it England." By the time I'm done thinking about that, I'm ready for the gym, darling.